Harihi, Harihi Om Tat Sat, Harihi Om Tat Sat. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru. Kartavyamasti namameha hi kinchideva sthathavyamityadimanaha bhuvi samstitosmi samshantaya satada suptadhiyaiva vritya karyam karomi nacha kinchidaham karomi karyam karomi nacha kinchidaham karomi Madhya hridaya kashe sadanandamayo guru udetu satatam samyak swatmananda prabodhakaha. Hari, Hari, Hari Om Tas. We shall have the 3 times joint recitation of the auspicious syllable, monosyllable, Omkara. Interlock your fingers and put them on your lap. Sit comfortably erect. Close your eyes. Open the mouth and heart and join me. Through this joint recitation, let us spread on the whole of the earth. And our joint sound should shower its benedictions on all. Divibhumau tatha kashe
Divibhumau tatha kashe
Bahirantascha me vibhu
Bahirantascha me vibhu
Yo vibhatyavabhasatma
Yo vibhatyavabhasatma
Tasmai sarvatmane namaha
Tasmai sarvatmane namaha
Tasmai sarvatmane namaha
Tasmai sarvatmane namaha.
I don't know whether by participating in this retreat, all of you have had a kind of a study and evaluation about life. Can you tell me? Do you know what is this life and living? No answer? What is this life? Is the body living? Or something else within the body lives? What is that? It is not matter, it is not energy. It is something absolutely supra-material and supra-energial. That presence we know very clearly. That generates the heat. That makes the heart beat, lungs bellow. Circulation takes place because of it. So many different organs, they do their respective secretions, all because of this inner presence. the multiple functions, actions and reactions taking place in the body put together, if you think who can decide it, that designer will be God. This is a mystery, our body. So, what is our life? Our life is, we carry a body. In the body we have an inner presence which does not belong to the physical world, body, matter and energy. The only one other, I have no word to describe it, because all our words are relating to the world objects. I cannot say the only other, what? What shall I say? The only other existence I cannot say. Still we are using words. The only other factor besides matter and energy, that is consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is that presence which makes you conscious of other things as well as itself. That power neither matter nor energy has. So consciousness is something entirely different from what all things you otherwise know. How do you say I am? You tell me. Where from do you get the idea I am? Is it the body that reveals to you I am? Huh? Doubt? In pitch darkness, you go and stand somewhere lifting your hand so that they don't touch your thighs. Can you see your body? Still, don't you say I am? Where from does that come? It comes from the presence that is animating and activating the body. This is something that you should understand. Our life is always based upon the inner factor. Our body is absolutely inert. It is a matter-energy aggregate. It cannot cause an experience. It cannot generate knowledge. Our life is experiential. Being experiential, is it based on the body or is it based on the mind? So this mind is the supreme factor in your life. Always be conscious of your mind. For all the people who suffer many things, so many things they suffer from, understand that for everything there is a redress and there is a solution in the mind. So my statement to all of you will be, understand that the mind is a supreme treasure. What? It is a supreme treasure. As it generates complications, it can also redress them. Arjuna was totally aggrieved. When Krishna activated his intelligence, what did he do? Arjuna said, I am overpowered by grief. And Krishna analyzed the grief itself. And in a matter of minutes, Arjuna's grief fled. His tears stopped. And he started inquiring. What do you say? You must have some faith and understanding of all these instances. It is history that took place in the battlefield of Kurukshetra that Vedavyasa has committed to paper, palm leaves. As it happened to Arjuna, who also was a human like any one of us, can it not happen to you also? A few weeks back, one woman came here saying, her husband has died, another devotee brought her here. She was very, very sorry. I spoke to her. Finally, in the course of a few minutes, she started smiling. And she smilingly went saying that, I will come here to stay for 3-4 days. The mind is a treasure. Initially, it creates problems. Later on, it will undo all the problems and it will make you float in the ecstasy of the soul. This faith in your mind you must have. And the whole process we shall achieve by the operation of the intelligence. The intelligence is given to knowledge. Enquiry, research, finding, invention, discovery. Sri Rama willfully went on a pilgrimage. He willfully went on a pilgrimage, but he had no preparation as to how to meet whatever I meet during the pilgrimage. That question was not taken up. So he courted dejection, despondency, disappointment and came back. So that dejection was a willful dejection he courted by the pilgrimage. Now he had to undo it. Vasishtha is strengthening him, enlightening him, enriching him to deal with his mind, and Rama succeeded. In the same manner, every one of you will succeed in dealing with your mind. Let it be a physical crisis. Let it be. I have a devotee called Padmini Panikar. Her husband was in the military. He died very young. Very young. I think in the Pakistan war.
71. 1971 war.
1971 war. So she was given a gas agency by the government in consideration. I happened to know her, means she happened to see me when I went to her gas agency and I was talking to her people. Somehow the talk did not progress well, so she came from inside and saw me. From that time onwards, the contact started. You know, when the husband died, she says, she remained at home without seeing anybody, only becoming sorrowful. Nearly a year passed. Then she felt, what is the point in remaining sorrowful like this? I must come out and try to help people who have a similar plight. She started coming out, running the agency and talking to people. A very good woman, very intelligent, speaks well, very efficient, good management, etc. See, this 1 year she was sorrowing. At the end of the year, it occurred to her, there is no point in sorrowing like this. Tell me now, where lies the secret? My dear souls, never complain your minds about your mind. This mind is actually self itself. As long as the consciousness reflects the world, it is called the mind. Chittam karanamarthanam tasmin sadi jagatrayam tasmin kshine jagatshinam tachikitsyam prayatnataha. Chittam karanamarthanam. Chittam karanamarthanam.
Chittam karanamarthanam.
Tasmin sadi jagatrayam.
Tasmin sati jagatrayam.
Tasmin kshine parikshinam.
Tasmin kshine parikshinam.
Tachikitsyam prayatnataha.
Tachikitsyam prayatnataha.
Tachikitsyam prayatnataha.
Tachikitsyam prayatnataha.
Vasishtha Deva says, Chittam karanamarthanam. For the existence of all objects, the entire objectude, the cause and the source is the mind. Will you accept it? Huh? If you don't wake up, will you ever have the world and suffering? What is meant by waking up? Your mind coming up. So this mind is what reflects the world. Tasmin sati jagatrayam. When the mind is awake and active, all the three worlds come into expression. Tasmin kshine jagatshinam. When the mind becomes weak and exhausted, the whole world becomes weak and exhausted. Tat chikitsyam prayatnataha. Using viveka, effortfully, you have to treat your mind. Let the intensity of suffering be anything. What of it? Did you want to be born here? Why are you doubting? Did you seek this life? Or the life was thrust on you? My complaint against God is, if God had told me, I want you to be born in a world and picture the world properly, I said, I don't like to go there. So He has pushed me here without asking me. So He is the culprit number one. Everybody is pushed into the world and He claps His hands and laughs. What is this? Nothing in this world is ours. Our body is also not ours. But we are made to suffer from everything. Is there any injustice greater than this? Tachikitsyam prayatnataha. That mind has to be treated properly. It is the mind treatment that Yogavasishtha Ramayana in 32,000 verses deals with. I have spoken reasonably well. But have you got the message? Your life is from the world to yourself, or your life is from yourself to the world. It is from your mind to the world. When does this mind come up? When you wake up. What is waking up? We sleep for 8 hours and we wake up. And we remain wakeful for 16 hours to go back to sleep again. This is very clear? So far as you are concerned, is not the world something that your mind reveals through the senses? Huh? Yes. So is not the world sensation for you? Huh? Yes. Will you give the world any other status? I refer to the world which my senses apprehend or comprehend. I don't know of any other world. So in referring to the world, my senses and their comprehension come first. Is it clear? And my mind is not active except when I am wakeful. The same mind of wakefulness wipes off all wakeful impacts and goes to sleep. So tell me, the mind has got how many different expressions? It is wakeful for 16 hours, but it is totally asleep for 8 hours. Both are the mind's domain, is it not? Huh? Are you sure? Then we have a third state called dream. What is this dream? Why is it? The dream is there to make you understand that the mind or the consciousness in you is capable of creating anything gross. Mind is within the body subtle. How can the subtle mind produce a gross item if you ask? It can. I told you the consciousness has 3 powers: to create, to uncreate, and to bring about any changes in the created. Now, in the sleep state, everything is forgotten and left. In the wakeful state, everything is brought. Now, in between the two, we have a dream state. What is this dream? Dream takes place within sleep. But all that takes place in dream is unlike sleep, it is wakeful. When you are dreaming, it is not a dream. It is actually wakefulness. But when it breaks, you call it dream. So is dream really there? You know about a dream only when you wake up. So when you wake up, it is not there. Till you wake up, was it not a wakeful state for you? Nevertheless, such a state is there. And it takes place only within the body. Within the body, how can there be a city, an aircraft, travel, etc.? But certainly there were gross objects. You travel with another body which is gross. You felt hungry, went to a hotel, had your food, Then you wake up only to see that the waking food lies still undigested. This is what happens. So what I want to tell you is, though you are living in this world, don't be overpowered by it. Understand that the world is a result, is an outcome of your wakefulness. Wakefulness does not depend upon or relate itself to the world. Rather, the world relates itself to our waking state. Our waking state is independent. We can be wakeful, we can be asleep. It totally depends upon us. We have fundamentally 3 states: sleep, dream, and wakefulness. All our experiences, all our knowledge, all whatever you are referring to, world, interactions with the world, God, everything, it is all within these 3 states. These are the fundamental. In the 3 states, only during wakefulness, the creation is there. Don't think that creation is absolute. For every day, 8 hours, we are away from the creation. Is it clear? Do not forget this. In all our judgments and evaluations about the world and world experiences, you should take into consideration not merely the wakeful life, but also the sleep and the dream life. Whether the sleeping individual can produce a wakeful world, if you ask, the answer is he not producing one in dream? चुप रहते हैं क्यों? बोलिए ना. Is he not creating one in dream? What creates it? Your mind, the consciousness. Where is it creating? Inside the body. When you have a dream, another person who sleeps by the side, he does not have. So the whole creation is inside the body. How the sleeping individual manages this wonderful gross creation within the body? From that, can you not agree that the sleeping individual, the sleeping I, has got immense powers to do whatever it likes? Yes or no? Yes. My dear children, you have to say yes, but that yes should govern your life. It should not be an offhand answer. Yes, yes. The world is just like dream. In the dream, it is a creation within my body made by the sleeping individual. It is the same sleeping man who wakes up. Therefore, the wakefulness also is a creation of the same source. Let it recur. Let it last for 16 hours of the day. But it only lasts for 16 hours. 8 hours, it is not there. That is sufficient fact and proof for its unreal character. This much do you understand and will you remember? We have to live in this world comfortably, happily, harmoniously. As long as we have life, we will be in the wakeful state. In the wakeful state, we will interact with the objects of the world. All that should be taking place properly and well. The purpose of spiritual wisdom is to enable, empower, and enforce this. That is why Vasishtha talks to Sri Rama so elaborately after he was able to withdraw himself into his own bosom. He awakened him and then said, "My dear Rama, don't seek solitude and absorption. You have to sit on the throne, rule the country, ensure the welfare of your people." Because that is the system. It was not democracy. In democracy, at least we have to elect. The administration should go on. Otherwise, people cannot exist. So you cannot be indifferent. Whatever you want to achieve, even spiritually, I ensure that you will get it interactionally. So the emphasis is on interactional life. Here is a beautiful verse. Sarvasthohamakartedi dridhabhavanayanaya pravahapatitam karyam kurvannapi na lipyade. Sarvasthoham agartedi dridhabhavanayanaya pravahapatitam karma kurvannapi na lipyade. We have an expression called pravahapatitam karma. Say that.
Pravahapatitam karma.
Some cultured people use this expression, pravahapatitam karma. When I went to Jamshedpur in the very early years, 56, 57 years back, one day a man came and his discussion was pravahapatitam karma. What is meant by pravahapatitam karma? You take a log, put it into the river. You do have to do anything? Simply put it. Will the log do anything? So it starts moving with the current of the river. And you can unload it, take it away from wherever you want. In the same manner, you should do all your activities. There is a flow, a collective flow, an individual flow, a familial flow, a societal flow. According to that flow, you go on doing. You have to get up in the morning, answer the call of nature, take your bath, wash your teeth, etc. All these you do. And whatever work is there from your side, your family side, office side, professional, all these things you go on doing. But that doing should be without any egocentric resistance. Pravahapatitam, like a log floating in the river. Our whole life is a flotation. Sarvasthoham agartedi. Sarvasthoham agartedi. Say?
Sarvasthoham akartedi.
We have spoken so much about the self. The self itself is the supreme reality. It is all-pervading, all-pervading. If your self is all-pervading, are you not all-pervading? We are not referring to the body here, because the body becomes absent when you go to sleep. The sleeping I, is he only in the body, or is not his nature all-pervasive? Even the mind, you tell me, is not widespread. What about the air you breathe? Your body is limited, but the air you breathe, is it limited in the body or it is widespread? What about the mind? What about the intelligence? And what about the soul? So you are present everywhere as soul. Sarvasthoham. Such a person as I am, who is present everywhere, if I am all-pervading, can I do anything? Huh? What do you mean by action? Any action is in the way of a movement or a vibration. Movement or a vibration. Otherwise there is no activity. Suppose I am pervading in the whole universe. Can I vibrate? Can I move? Any doubt? I fill a bottle with water and seal it with no air bubble inside. Go on shaking the bottle. Will the water move? Huh? So the self does not move at all. Then where is the question of acting? I am sarvastha, present everywhere. Therefore, agartha. Say?
Agartha.
I am not a doer, I am a non-doer. Dridha bhavanaya naya. You must be firm and resolute about this notion, this assessment. Then, pravahapatitam karma kurvan. Get up early in the morning cheerfully. What is there to be done? Ask your wife, ask your children. क्या करना है मुझे बोलो. और क्या करना है, और क्या करना है, ये तो समाप्त हुआ, दूसरा क्या है? I am mostly in my office. I will talk to people when there is an occasion, otherwise I will write. I don't do anything else actually. Every day I am doing. In the process, I have my bath, I have my exercises, I also have my food. Some rest also I take apart from the night rest. What is there to be done? I sometimes ask Pranadi, tell me, what do you want me to do? Because there is a lot of editing to be done here. One Malayalam journal, she and I alone can handle it. So by the time it is 29th, 30th, she will start murmuring, please, please, please. So I start doing that. And then say, tell me, what is to be done? This is the way you should live. After all, you are eating. When you feed, nourish the body, there will be energy generated. That energy can be spent only by activity. So without activity, how do you propose to live? And this activity is what you call in a different ways. Oh, it is my duty, it is another's duty, this is not my duty, why do you ask me to do? You have to act till you go to sleep. Simply do some work or the other. Pravahapatidam karma kurvannapi na lipyade. If you have this attitude, you will have no bondage at all. See, our women, they become pregnant. Very natural. They have uterus. They are meant to conceive. They conceive and they have a child. They breastfeed the child grows. What is there to be so much claiming or disclaiming about? I don't think. Just like many other things, you think about your role as a mother also, as a father. Animals also have all these. We have a few kittens here now. Two mothers are there. We have not asked them to come, but they come. So they are given names and they are looked after. And we find that suddenly one day, 3 kittens, all eaten by the tomcat. What shall we do? Pravahapatidam karma kurvanna vinalipyade. Na devaha kamalarubi napi devo bhaven matihi agardramam anadyantam devanam deva uchyade akaradi parichinne mide vastuni matkudaha tatkudaha akritramam anadyantam devanam chichivam viduhu. Sage Vasishtha narrates to Sri Rama an instance that took place in his life. He went to the Himalayas, met somebody called a crow called Bhushunda. I am not saying anything about it. He had long conversation and pranayama was the subject of discussion. After that he said, when he was moving, suddenly a brilliance appeared before him. The brilliance came nearer and nearer and told him, I am Lord Shiva of Himalayas. And there ensued a conversation. And the gist of the conversation was, people are worshipping me as Shiva in different ways. They think of me with a form, with hands, feet, etc. But I am actually not that. I am the Paramatma. I am the self in the body of all. And my magnitude is infinite, infinite, infinite. Such an infinite measure. In that infinite presence, can there be a head? Can there be legs, hands, neck, etc.? But people are attributing all these to me. In this attribution, what I find is the ignorance and delusion of people. They are not able to understand me as what? As what I am. So they take to faulty understanding and they are governed by it. But I am actually a tejas, a brilliance. Na devaha kamala rubi nabidevo bhavenmadihi. The true God is not kamala rubi. To describe him like a lotus, lotus feet, etc. It's not correct. Nabidevo bhavenmadihi. He is not whatever idea occurs to your mind. You have to think of him separately. Tadeva deva shabdena kathyade tad prabhujayet tadevasti yatas sarvam satta satta atmarupadrug. The real Shiva is such that he incorporates the satta and asatta in his nature. When you say existence or satta, it means non-existence also. If you say something is existing, it is existing, but it was not existing earlier. So from non-existence, when existence appears, then only you speak of existence. But if something is present without having been born and having to exist, what will you refer it as? I don't know whether you follow me. Huh? When something is present, was present right from the beginning, can you say it existed from such and such a time? So there is no word, we don't have a word. So the real Shiva is one who incorporates existence and non-existence alike and transcends both. Are you able to follow what I am saying? I am using a word transcending. What is meant by transcending? Everything in this world, pairs of opposites. Everything. Existence becomes so compared to and contrasted with non-existence. Man and woman, good and bad. Yesterday and today, profit and loss, happiness and grief. Everything is pairs of opposites, pairs of opposites. What is meant by transcendental? When there is no scope for pairs of opposites, transcending them. You think of the state that you are sleeping. When you sleep, do you have anything in particular to refer to? Huh? Anything? But in wakefulness, everything particular is there. So the sleep is a state where you have transcended all the multiple wakeful influences. The word transcending, are you able to understand? Similarly, to have to transcend sukha and dukkha also. Normally we are hunting for sukha and we are disliking dukkha. But sukha is brought by dukkha. If you are not having dukkha and the dukkha will not terminate, how will you have sukha? So what brings you sukha is the preceding. Then can you dislike it? Why are you disliking? Only because we are not introspective. And following sukha, what are you getting? Dukkha. Unless you have succeeding dukkha, you will not be able to experience further sukha. So the two are complementary or complementary. If both are complementary, one is welded into the other, then should you have a uniform attitude of acceptance towards them, or you should differentiate them? This uniform attitude of acceptance is what we say, transcend both, include both, receive them alike, allow them to exist coexistentially with you. I sometimes wonder, are they all clever words or what? Huh? Do they convey some idea? See, you are here They will coexist with you. You don't have to do anything. Develop a uniform attitude. In that uniform attitude, let sukha be and dukkha be. When both of them are there, what will be your attitude? Uniform. So if you are uniformly disposed to sukha and dukkha, what is the trouble? Huh? आज सुख का दिन है, कल तो थोड़ा दुख था. Today is the day of happiness. Yesterday was of unhappiness. Tomorrow again, maybe unhappiness will be there. Without hunger, can you fulfill and have appeasement? So hunger is good or bad? Prahlada is asking, in spite of your best efforts, is anyone able to avoid dukkha? Without your best of efforts, still dukkha appears. In spite of all efforts to avoid, still dukkha appears. In the same manner, sukha also will appear, he says. So you don't have to struggle for both. If you don't have to struggle for either sukha or dukkha, don't you think the life becomes absolutely pleasant and free? Yes or no? Yes. Please understand. One formula, have a uniform attitude, and sukha dukkhas alone will be generated by all the dvandvas in this world. The world can create only 5 sensations. And these sensations, when they touch the mind, they become happy and unhappy. When you go to sleep, they also vanish. In our whole personality, they don't remain. 8 hours when we sleep, we don't have any effect of the world. What more do you want? So he says, Bodhaha samyam shamaidi pushpanyagrani tatraja shivam chinmatramamalam pujyam pujyavido viduhu. What is the real worship of Shiva? How do you worship? Suppose you take some flowers and put it on a Shivalinga, do you think it will touch Lord Shiva? Huh? Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva. Can he sit here? Huh? So your flower, where from have you taken it? From a plant. When you are plucking it, you have plucked the neck of Shiva. Because he was present there. And you are throwing it at a particular spot. What about the other areas where he is present? So what is the real worship of Shiva? If he is an inner spiritual brilliance, what? The flowers you select should be such that they will be able to touch his feet inside. So he says, Bodhaha samyam shamaidi. Say? Bodhasamyam shamaidi.
Bodhasamyam shamaidi.
Pushpanyagrani tatraja.
Pushpanyagrani tatraja.
These are the flowers required. What? Bodhaha. Either it is understanding or it is introspection. Samyam. That my Shiva is present everywhere equally. Shamaidi. Having no desire. These are the flowers that will touch the feet of inner Lord Shiva. Pushpanya agrani tatraja. The premier flowers are these. Bodha samyam shamaiti. Why? Shivam chinmatramalam. Shivam Chinmatram amalam.
Chinmatram amalam.
Why all are not saying? Shivam Chinmatram amalam.
Shivam Chinmatramalam.
Pujyam Pujya Vido Viduhu.
Pujyam Pujya Vido Viduhu.
Knowledgeable people who know sufficiently about what is worship, who is the worshipper, what is to be worshipped, they say that Shivam Chinmatram Amalam. Shiva is actually Chinmatra. Say that.
Chinmatra.
The word Chit refers to consciousness, sentience. So the real Shiva is full of consciousness. There is nothing else. And because he is consciousness, he is Amala, always pure. This impurity belongs to matter energy aggregates. But Shiva being supra-material and supra-energial, there is no question of any impurity at all. He is always pure. Shivam Chinmatramamalam Pujyam Pujya Vido Viduhu. It is that Shiva who has to be worshipped properly. This is revealed by Shiva to sage Vasishtha. What about the people who are worshipping Shivalinga, etc.? He says, Jnatajnaya hiye santo balakridopamam chate atmadhyanadrite brahman kurvanto deva pujanam. Atmadhyanadrite. Instead of closing your eyes, sitting in a place and trying to contemplate upon Lord Shiva if you can, all that is required is you should sit in a place alone. Close your eyes, interlock your fingers and start contemplating upon Lord Shiva. That is the real worship. People who are disinclined to do so or are unable to do so, they are not patient. They don't have restraint. For such people, Jnatajnaya hiye santo balakridopamam chate. Their worship is just like the children playing with their toys. Are you hearing me? थोड़ा सोचिए ना, ये भी हमारे शास्त्रों में है. कोई पढ़ता नहीं क्यों? It is just like toys and dolls which children are using for playing. They are also very happy. But we know very clearly that it's only a toy. It may delight them. But do you think the toys will be able to give everything for the children? So, Balak Kridopamam Chate Atmadhyanadade Brahman Kurvanto Deva Pujanam. In the name of God, what you should do is sit in a place, close your eyes and think about God. Oh, God, don't leave me. I want to be with you. I want you to be with me. My mind should be focused solely on you. I should become godly. I should become divine. I should become spiritual. My spirituality should be such that I should find the whole world spiritual. There should be nothing unspiritual. My dear God, make me think comprehensively. Suppose you start speaking in this manner or thinking in this manner, how beautiful a worship it will be. Instead of that, we shut that door altogether and we pick up flowers and select an idol. Ma has written a book. I gave the title In the Company of My Lord. We are producing a translation in our Vichara Sarani magazine. So I started translating. Started laughing and laughing and laughing. How much I laughed when I was translating. Every one of you should read that book. Such a beautiful book. So when I read a few pages, I said, the title of this book should be In the Company of My Lord. It's a wonderful book. I am wondering how many people think like this. Has any one of you read it? Did you read? You should read it, my dear girl. It will be surprising as to how a human mind can think in this manner related to God, plucking flowers, offering them, where to offer, how to offer. So she was chatting with the so-called flower and God. Something very wonderful. So what you should do is sit in a place, close your eyes and start saying whatever you like about God. Instead of doing that, what are you doing? Plucking some flowers, putting them somewhere, removing them afterwards. At the same time, nothing happens to the mind. See, if you start worshipping, every day you should become a better and a greater worshipper, a devotee. People have been worshipping for 50 years. And what kind of a devotee they were to begin with, and after 50 years, where do they stand? I think it is just like pouring water into a glass. Every day's devotional practice should make you better and better. This will happen provided you start talking to God, conversing with Him. Stop all other efforts. Simply talk to Him. You can talk to Him from wherever you are, while taking bath, while lying, while eating, anytime and everywhere. Dhyana means a little deeper and intense. But thoughts and memories can be, everybody can have. So think about God, speak to Him, memorize Him, chant the names if you like, think about the stories relating to Him. All these are what is required if you want to progress in the path of devotion. Vasishtha, by disclosing the conversation he had with Lord Shiva in the form of a supreme brilliance, is telling you who is a model devotee. Where should the devotee's focus be? Should he make an idol of the Lord? Or should he identify the Lord as being present in his heart? Install Him in your heart, talk to Him. Suppose you place Him in your heart, anything wrong that you do will hurt Him, so He will not allow you to do anything wrong. So the best insurance is to keep the Lord in your heart. What is the trouble, you tell me? Are you afraid? There are some people who say, I want to pursue this path, but am I ripe? Everybody is ripe. Suppose you are unripe, by pursuing the path you will first become ripe. Suppose you put a wet piece of firewood into the burning oven. What happens? First of all, the water it will be vaporized and it will start burning. So you don't have to wait for any special occasion at all. Any religious or devotional practice which you do should instill introspection in you. Introspection. If you have understood this before going away from here, I shall be very happy. You should incorporate truthful introspection as a part of your life. We have beautiful scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Ashtavakra Samhita and the others. All of them will help you. Try to be familiar with them, read them, listen to them. We have so much of matter in the YouTube. Your devotion should grow. It will rise higher and higher. It should. Atmaiva Devo Bhagavan Shivah Paramakaranam Jnanarchanena Viradam Pujaniya Sa Sarvada. What a text is this? I think we should put granite stones writing these verses here and there throughout the country. Atmaiva Devo Bhagavan. Atma eva Bhagavan Deva. What you refer to as the I, that itself is the Supreme Lord, Shiva. He is the Lord Shiva, Paramakaranam. He is the one cause and source for all. The one cause and source for all. Where is that source? Huh? Inside oneself. Atma eva. Jnanarchanena viratam pujaniyaha. Because he is inside, no external matter you can use in order to worship him. So the only right way will be Jnanarchanena aviratam pujaniyaha. By trying to think, trying to know, by reading, by reflecting, by introspection. You should continuously worship him. What are these sannyasins doing? They are not supposed to do anything. They are ascetics. They remain looking into their own mind and tracing and following the different thought processes that arise in their mind. If you simply sit and watch your mind, it becomes meditation. You should watch your mind. Pujaniyaha sa sarvada. Whatever remains in your heart in the form of consciousness, that is the one to survive in the whole creation, even at the end of the kalpa. The matter and energy get transformed. The only untransforming substratum is the consciousness. Your whole body, brain, everything is changing. But there is one factor which does not change at all, and that is the I. And the I is not matter, it is consciousness. So consciousness is the only factor that remains changeless in the constantly changeful world. Wakefulness, sleep and dream. They emerge, rise and subside. Tell me, where is the wakefulness arising? Where is the dream arising? And where is sleep arising? It cannot be in the world outside. And the world is only an outcome of our wakefulness. All of them are emerging from and subsiding in the sky of consciousness. In the sky of consciousness. How? Like the dream we experience. The entire manifold. I don't know, you have become used to these expressions now? Yes. The entire manifold, the manifold is not actually there at all. All the dreamt phenomena which you had, were they existing? In the same mind, in the same atmosphere, these wakeful objects also are there. They are also really not. I would like to recite one or two verses which you can remember very well. You may not literally able to learn, but you can try. We will send you if you want. See, the entire spiritual life is meant to make light of everything in life. What? Make light of whatever you experience in life. Never make it heavy. Somebody scolded you, what of it? He wants to scold. If there is a truth in his scolding, you should be grateful to him. Otherwise, I have examined. I don't find any relevance to what he said. Therefore, you forget. Make light. Make light. Let it be suffering, let it be enjoyment, let it be this, let it be that. So, what is this wonderful state of spirituality and samadhi and things like that? Here is a beautiful verse. Andashunnyo bahishunyaha shunya kumbhaiva ambare andapurno bahipurnaha purna kumbhaiva arnave. How beautifully it is mentioned. The state of abundance, fullness, the state of sufficiency. What is that? Antashunyo bahishunya shunya kumbhaiva ambare. Take a kumbha, a pitcher. Suppose you throw it into the sky, empty sky. Tell me what it will contain. It is shunya inside, shunya outside, like a shunya kumbha. The same pitcher you bring, fill it with water, with sea water, and put it inside the sea. What will it be? It will be full with water, surrounded by water. This is the state or experience that you will have when you progress in spirituality and do the right contemplation, properly initiated particularly. Andashunyo bahishunyaha shunya kumbhaivambare andapurno bahipurnaha purna kumbhaivarnave. Nothing will affect you. You have the mind, a thought arises. What is there? I always ask you one question. When you see different colors, do they affect the eye and the eye also changes color? Huh? When you see blazing fire, do you become the fire? Similarly, when the mind thinks of fire, does it become fire? Huh? What is your problem? Let any thought come to the mind. Will the mind become the thought? Then what is your problem? Ignorance is your problem. You don't understand this. Say fire, fire, fire. Will the tongue be burnt? Or mind be burnt? Suppose you say ice, 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 ice. Will you become cold? So let there be any thought coming into the mind. After all, what is this thought? A projection of the mind. By a projection, the mind is not affected. Then why are you getting affected? Stop this. Count upon the depth of the mind, character of the mind, quality of the mind, and think that by no thought will I be affected. So the mind will become something like this. Antashunyo Behishunyaha Shunya Kumbhaivambare Andapurno Behipurnaha Purna Kumbhaiva Arnave. This is a wonderful state. Wonderful state. Sri Rama listened to all this. You know what he finally says? Adhigatam adhigamyam nyayamaptum mayedam vigadamakhilamahikyam dvaidamastam prayadam parigalitamashesham drishyabhedabhavanam nani nipunamapasta shesha samsaritastha. It is good if you can follow Sanskrit, learn it. Adhigatam adhigamyam. My dear sage, after listening to you for 18 days, I have understood what is to be understood. Nyayamaptam aptum mayedam. Whatever is to be known and realized, I have realized it. Vigadamakhilamahikyam dvaidamastam prayadam. The sense of duality that was dominant in my mind, that has set. And everything has merged into one and the oneness. Parigalitamashesham drishyabhedabhavanam. How will I make you grasp this? I have a lot of idea about objects. Now I understand that my reference to objects is actually a reference to a projection and display of the subject itself. See, the mind decides to see. It employs the eyes. And with the help of the eyes, when does the seeing process take place? When there is an imprint of the object made in the mind by the mind. So the whole process is subjective and mental, or objective, gross and sensory. That is what I have understood now. Drishya bhedavabhanam. I was giving a lot of importance to the drishya, to the visibles, thinking that they are separate from me. Okay, all of you are separate from me, I agree. But you tell me how I see you as separate. Where is that seeing process taking place? On the basis of what do I say that you are separate? That is an inner subjective process. So the drishya is no other than a display of the subject. My own mind is displaying the drishya. Nanu nipunamapasta shesha samsaritastha. Because the entire objectude, it is a display of my own subject. In content and quality, is there anything in the object which is not in the subject? Huh? And why should the subject seek itself? So all desires have no meaning. The foolish man desires. Desire what? The subject desiring itself, its own display. So the entire interest in the world, dominance by the world, it has all set in my mind. And then what do I do now? Andha prasannamadhirastha samastha shogaha shobham gadoham amalashaya eva shandhya anandamatmani gada swayamatmanaiva nairmailyam abhyuvagadosti namostu tasmai. Nairmailyam abhyuvagadosmi namostu mahyam. I wish all of you at least keep a memory of this day. He says, Andha prasannamadhirastha samastha shokaha. He started with Himalayan grief and agitation. And now he says, antaha, inside me, prasannamatihi. What does it mean? Cheerful. Cheerful mind. Asta samasta shokaha. All grief has set. Shobham gatoham. I have attained my own inner purity and splendor. Amalashaya eva shantya. My whole inside has become pure, immaculate, full of shanti. Anandama atmani gataha. I have virtually dipped myself in the pool of Ananda. Swayam Atmanaiva. In this process, I have never taken anybody's help. I heard you, reflected upon what you said. You are my preceptor, you are my guru. But the whole application has been done by Nirmalyam abhyupagatosmi. I can honestly say, my dear sage, that I have attained purity. The whole purity has come to me by virtue of my own self-effort, as you have stressed. Now what shall I do? He says, Namostu mahyam. I prostrate before myself. I prostrate before. In our temples, do you know what the tantris do? A stone idol, how does it become vibrant? How does it become vibrant and brilliant? The tantris, the chief priests, are invoking from their own mind the brilliance and depositing it in the idol. As a result of which, they will be deficient after the installation. Who? The priests. And they are supposed to do Gayatri special japa sahasravrti for about 21 days or 41 days after the installation. And this brilliance which has been imparted into the deity can last maximum for 12 years. 12 years. Every time devotees go there and ask the Lord, give me this, give me this, give me this, they are trying to drain the brilliance. So after 12 years it will be exhausted. It has to be reinstituted by a rejuvenation ceremony. Otherwise, how the idol will become brilliant, you tell me? The installation of the deity in the temple, is it not a manly act? It is a human act upon the earth. Has God anything to do with it? Huh? It is our decision. We are doing it. So you do it well. The chief priest says, my dear Lord, you are present everywhere. But our people are not able to see you. They want to worship. So I request you, I beseech you, please come and be present in this idol. It is something like taking a fan. The air is present everywhere. Still I am sweating. So I am taking a hand fan and blowing it, waving it. In the same manner, I want you to be present in this idol. This is how the conversation goes. Do you understand the relevance? Andhat prasannamadhirastha samastha shokaha shobham gadoha mamalashayayeva shantya anandamatmani gadaswayamatmanaiva nirmalyam abhyupagatosmi namostu mahyam. What do you think of the culture which makes a person sit before a teacher, listen to whatever he instructs, assimilating everything that he conveys, and ultimately getting purified, enlightened and fulfilled? makes a confession of this nature. I prostrate before me. This is India. This is India. Can you imagine? You should remember the assembly in Ayodhya. Dasharatha, the father, was there, the three mothers were there, ministers were there, citizenly chiefs were there, military officials were there. Quite a lot of people were there along with Sri Rama. The book is very elaborate. And this happened for 18 days. And at the end of it, Sri Rama prostrates before himself. Okay. Rama says, Nashto mohaha padam praptam tot prasadan munishvara sampannohamaham satyam atyandam avadadadhihi. This is what he says at the end. Nashto moha, my delusion is gone. Padam praptam, the supreme abode you have chalked. I have attained it. Tot prasadan munishvara, by your blessing and direction. Sampannohamaham satyam atyandam avadadadhihi. I have become quite wise. I have attained the supreme abode which you wanted me to attain. This is how we get to the end. We shall stop now. Samvedya varjidamanuttamameghamadyam Samvitpadam vigalanam kalayan mahatman Hridyeva tishtha kalanarahita kriyam tu kurvan agartrapadametya shamodidashri kurvan agartrapadametya shamodidashri. Harihi, Harihi, Harihi Om Tas. Jai Guru. We shall have the concluding Omkara as usual. Be ready. Harihi Om Tas. Jai Guru.